All right, so if you watched my last video, then you know I just came from working out and I'm getting ready to go do these little lunch drops right quick. And I'm gonna throw a t-shirt on just like this because I'm gonna be, sorry, I gotta look over here. I'm gonna throw a t-shirt on just on top of this because I'm gonna be out in the sun right quick. So there's no point in me hopping in the shower when I know I'm gonna go out here and sweat. So we're gonna do this.
Now, I'm gonna launch it up the port up, not the car here in the seat. Oh, my bad.
So I'm out doing these lunch drops, but let's do story time. So somebody asked me a while ago, and I recorded a video for it, y'all, but I looked so bad I had to delete that video. Matter of fact, I didn't delete it. I still have the video, but it'll never see the light of day because I looked so bad in that video and I didn't realize I was looking busted and disgusted. So they wanted me to talk about my near-death experience, and wait a minute, y'all. I'm supposed to make a turn somewhere. So, near-death experience. Having my son, hospital. I have photos and I do have a little bit of video. I might show it. I might put it a little bit of the ending here, and I might not. I don't know. If y'all want to see it, y'all have to let me know.
Turn left onto San Jacinto Street, then turn left onto Prairie Street.
My thing telling me to turn left because I'm delivering these lunches for this thing called a lunch drop, and it'll pay a car note. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if your car note ain't over $500, because it's about $500 a month, you just go out and do just little lunch drops. Takes you about an hour, and you go on wherever you go.
Turn left onto Prairie Street, then your destination will be on the left.
In a bad gig, they got me downtown today. I know how to navigate downtown pretty well. But anywho, we're talking about near-death experience. So, I was anemic during my pregnancy. I was getting a lot of sonic ice, not really realizing it, and not saying that I didn't have good care. I just think me also giving a lack of information.
Your destination is on the left.
Oh, it's here. Sorry, y'all. I thought I was going to a different place and realized where I was going once I got here. But maybe I was giving them a lack of information, which also did not allow me to be treated maybe in the way that I could have been treated. But anywho, it's still no excuse for one of the things that I felt happened to me during my time. So basically, long story short, went in, was induced, right? We had the due date, all of that, went in, was induced. My son wasn't coming out the right way. Well, I don't say the right way. My son kept bumping into my pelvic bone. So because he kept bumping into my pelvic bone, that was creating an issue. So because that was creating an issue, they were like, okay, we've waited and we've waited. We got to go ahead and take him. So, sorry, I'm having a park at a block away from where I'm supposed to be. So, they went ahead, decided to do the C-section. And it was cool. He needed to come out. Baby's heart rates drop. They wanted to make sure the umbilical cord wasn't around his neck. They didn't know what was going on with that. So they made sure that all this stuff was good. So now, fast forward a little while, they're rushing me into OR, all of that stuff, getting me prepped, finna do the C-section. Did the C-section, all of that stuff. All of that was going well. Now, I was out, but I remember somebody saying that I could have possibly been nicked or whatever, they're not sure, during my C-section, which is why I ended up having to have a partial hysterectomy. So I ended up having to have a partial hysterectomy because I was hemorrhaging, and I was hemorrhaging blood so fast. I completely had a full blood transfusion, all the blood. every drop. Okay, I was losing blood quick because I was anemic. And that could have also been a reason. They might not even have nicked me. It could have been just the fact that I was anemic, right? That also could have played into a thing. It was a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? But this was 6 years ago. I'm alive and well. So I'm not going to say that I'm not tripping about it. But it's like, I mean, what's done is done. I'm here. All right, friends. So, yes, I am laying still in my bed. So I'm sitting here trying to edit this video, and I completely left out a very important component to this story. And the part is, I was in ICU for 3 days. I don't know how I left it out. So after all the hoopla, I was in ICU for 3 days after the blood transfusion, and now I'm gonna let you pick back up, and we're gonna keep that little tidbit in there. Hearing alive, my kid is hearing alive, you know. And in no way do I blame myself for any of it. In no way. So please, don't misunderstand the fact that I'm saying what's done is done. As if I don't blame myself. I'm not saying that I necessarily blame them, but I do believe, you know, maybe things could have went better than they did. However, so the biggest thing for me was you know, going through it and realizing, you know, my husband had to make a decision, and the decision was, so let me take this off. The decision was, keep me alive or I'm gonna go. If they didn't go ahead with the hysterectomy, because I was profusely bleeding from my uterus, so they had to go ahead and take that and take a partial one of my I believe it was the ovaries and a fallopian tube, I believe. So I'm still not exactly 100% sure
of what's left. Like what they took, I do know was the uterus, fallopian tube, possibly ovaries. Because I think the ovaries connected to the fallopian tube, so they took the tube, they took the ovary too. Anywho, pieces of me are still there. Okay.
And this is gonna play into a lot of other things that we'll talk about later. But for the main part, you know, it was definitely an experience, especially after, because I can truly say that afterwards was hard. It was very hard. You don't really understand what it's like to have a blood transfusion, the spiritual component, the natural component, the hormonal component, the mental component, the emotional component. It's a lot. It's a lot. I went through a really bad postpartum depression afterwards because my hormones had to adjust. Because you got to remember, this is not the blood that I was born with. This is somebody else's blood. It's different, right? Because we're talking about blood from somebody else. It's a different genetic makeup, different all of this. So your body has to adjust to this new natural chemical, I would say, that's being pumped into your system. So I went through some hard things after that. I was weak for a while. I know even 6 or 7 months into after having my son and the recuperation process, I was still very weak. When I initially coming home, I was on a walker. I had swelling in my legs, very bad. They had me on tramadol. My mom was like, please God, don't take this too long because it's very addictive, because she's in the medical field. And you know, I was like, okay, I promise I won't. And some days when I told her, well, let me just take, she was just like, don't take it, take something else. And I was like, okay, you know what I'm saying? But I mean, I didn't get addicted to tramadol or anything, but she was just trying to keep me off of it if I could, so that I wouldn't experience pain. But I can honestly say, the kind of pain that I experienced afterward, it wasn't so much from the incision. It's like my whole body hurt. If you've never been through a surgery or through a procedure where your entire body hurts from deep inside, like the whole body, parts that wasn't even touched were hurting. Like, because my body was adjusting to this new blood that had been put in. I mean, it was pain on a different level. It was external pain, it was internal pain, it was dull, but it was sharp. Like, I can't even describe to you the proper type of pain that I experienced in this situation. But definitely it was something to go through, and it made me really really assess my life and assess what I was doing with my life and who I wanted to be and what I wanted to do and how I wanted to be seen moving forward, and not take things for granted, for sure. Because after knowing that my husband had to make a decision, we live today, we die today, what are we going to do? Him having to make a decision, is it going to be you and your son, or you want your wife? You know what I'm saying? So anyway, moving forward, you know, all of that tied into postpartum depression, and pay attention a lot to my hormones, all of that stuff. So we're gonna talk about the hormones and all that stuff later. But all of that played a part. So that was my near-death experience, and that is why I am like I am now. You know, relearning, re-educating myself on how to be, who to be, where I want to be, being happy, being joyful, even when situations are just trash, right? Because life is not perfect. But understanding that, sweetie, you almost died, you might as well look up because things could be much worse. You could still be alive and be in a very bad position, you know, physically, mentally, anything. You went through something that was very hard. Not saying I'm the only person on the face of the earth that went through that, but when you go through it, you kind of understand some things about life and things that matter and things that don't. So anywho, this has been my TED Talk on my NDE, and yeah, so my near-death experience through childbirth, and I will see y'all on the next one.